Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tango Talks. And tonight we're here with us Kim Rogers, virally crowned the Worm Queen. She turned her chronic illness into a global self-healing movement, helping hundreds of thousands reclaim their health. She is the inventor of the original viral paraffin. Parafine. All right, thank you. Parasite Cleanse Kit and founder, CEO of Rogers Hood Apothecary, rooted from her personal healing journey with natural herbal products for parasites, worms, lymphatic health, and more. She is here to share the why behind the hottest new health trend she started. Welcome.
Welcome, Kim. We're so happy to have you here.
Know what to say. I know your questions, so I'll just ignore the feedback.
Let me try turning our side. Maybe if I turn our side down a little bit.
Which is those, yeah. Maybe we can turn her down too a little bit.
How does that sound?
Is it better or worse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll turn her down just a little bit too. This way we don't get. Okay.
So we already did our nice little introduction for you. And again, thank you for being with us tonight and taking time out of your, I'm sure, very, very hectic, busy schedule. And ignore the mess behind us. We're moving into a new room and we're trying to set up all of our printing equipment and everything else. So sorry.
Exciting. No, you're fine.
So I'll just hop right into questions then. So what are the most common symptoms of having worms and parasites?
Common symptoms that I think shock people right in the teeth, skin issues, bloating after you drink water or eat salad. You're like super distended. Anemia, so an iron deficiency is one. Malnourishment, because they can absorb all of our nutrients inside of their bodies.
Well, it's funny you said the salad thing there, like bloating after eating a salad, because me and my husband have that almost every time we eat a salad. And the salad just runs through us like you might as well just drink water.
Yeah. Because they are absorbing nutrients and your body isn't able to break them down, so they swell up, causing inflammation.
Great. Now you have something to bring up to my doctor.
Good luck. Because Western medicine, they're going to look at you and go, you don't have worms. You live in the first world country. Our water isn't contaminated. Our salmon's perfect, even though it can have worms. Our produce is fine.
I'm a big fear of like undercooked beef. Even though I like my steak, I like them I like it medium, but sometimes I like it medium rare. But then always the first thing is when it's like that trichinosis is in there.
Yeah. And trichinosis is actually an STD.
What?
Yeah, actually we call it an STD. It's a sexually transmitted parasite, as well as Toxoplasmosis gondii.
That's disgusting. We're going to eat steak again. I got to excuse myself in the rest of this conversation. I'm not going to be able to eat anything.
Have you seen those memes or the trend where they got like a frying pan and it's empty and they're like, what is safe to eat here right now?
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah. No kidding.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I'm already stunned.
So, Kim, you actually have a little bit of a backstory, though, before we really get too far along with the whole. We started right in with just the parasites. But do you want to fill us in a little bit on, Kim has a medical background and you worked in that for a really long period of time, right?
Yes.
And then you started having some issues with your health. And you want to tell us how it brought you from that to now being known to us as our favorite worm queen.
The crown is always
yeah.
I have to say, I love your sign that's right above your head behind you with the mushroom. And yes.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yes. That's Amanita. She saved my brain. So I almost died in 2019. And in 2021, I was getting off of all of my pharma meds. And I learned how to break her down to help match one of the pharmaceuticals that was on Klonopin. And so she helped save my brain so that I had a mini stroke instead of an actual stroke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, I come from Western medicine, and I've been in Western medicine since 2004. I ran 25 healthcare colleges. I authored medical books. I have 2 healthcare degrees. I was valedictorian for both of those degrees, so I'm kind of a nerd.
My goodness.
And I hold around 15 different certifications, and I have a license in medical specialties. So my specialties were neurology and immunology. So I'm a nerd when it comes to specific specialties like worms. Mold and Lyme, that's a specialty. And so I did that until around 2019. And my health started to decline rapidly in 2019. I had 13 surgeries. I had hysterectomy when I was 29 years old. And I was basically left to just deal with the repercussions that came after I had all of the surgery and zero idea I had parasites, mold, and Lyme. So in 2019, my husband and I quit our careers. We sold everything. We moved out to a piece of property to build a log home that we had purchased for us to retire decades later. Because I didn't want to leave my husband with a mortgage in debt when I died. And it was really important for me to him taken care of. So we started on a mission because we already had set our lives and our affairs in order to heal my body. So we worked on it for about a year and a half straight. We were really dedicated to growing mushrooms, learning about Amanita, figuring out ways that herbs could help my body versus me continuing to have surgery and being on synthetic drugs that were really just wreaking havoc on my body.
Yeah, see, I'm with you on that. I fight my doctor every time she wants to prescribe something new. I mean, because I get migraines every once in a while, and I don't take anything for it. I just feel better if I just go in a dark room, lay down for a half hour or something like that, wait for it to subside. But I'm a big proponent for just not pushing, like, wait, I'll just write you a script. I'll just write you a script. I'll just write you a script.
Right.
And I'm not knocking my doctors. I love them. There's a limit sometimes on, it's just too easy to just say, well, we'll give you this. And I take one pill to stay alive, but then I have to take another pill because that pill causes my cholesterol to spike. And now I'm looking at possibly starting something new because I've got other things going on. It's just like, okay, well, when does it end?
Usually when you start to cleanse, you start to realize that there is potentially an environmental toxin inside of your body, creating a cause that Western medicine is not going to be able to figure out for you. Your headaches can be from mold and parasites. Your high cholesterol can be from mold because it creates a sticky needle-like substance inside of our arteries. And mold likes to give off the persona of good cholesterol that's gone bad.
Oh.
But they're not going to tell you this. This is just something that you have to go and research on your own. And that's why I'm in one because I've done a lot of research for people. I offer all my great books. I have a mold cleanse that also do as a mitochondria support and helps clean up your cholesterol. When you bring in fennel, nettle, and sugarberry, those teams that push that cholesterol out, which helps push it out. So a lot of Western medicine practitioners don't understand this because they're not allowed to go outside of their box. There's
Right.
malpractice. We're supposed to stay within our scope of practice. And I let my license go so that I could talk about it and not be afraid that someone was going to come after me. That's
Yeah.
why. Not to defend them,
Right.
but they don't know. I know what they know because I worked in the world with them, and I also worked in academia. And I saw how we were all taught about the medicine and the symptom, not the root cause of the medicine, what the medicine is with that symptom. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep. And it's again, it's funny that you say stuff like that because I feel like I had to educate my own doctor. I had to go in last year. My brother had breast cancer and my sister's got breast cancer now. And I was having some pain, so I had to go in for cancer testing. And luckily, I didn't find anything. You know, I don't carry the BRCA gene, I carry something else that's worse, which I had to let my son know about. But the one thing they found when they did the biopsy was that in all the fat in my chest is riddled with what they call it, basically like little blood clots that are locked in fiber. And you know, I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, and I was like, "Do I need to be on a blood thinner?" She's like, "Oh no, that's the worst thing you want to be on because that's going to cause them to break loose." Well, years before, I had a blood clot in my leg, and my question to my doctor was like, "Could not be neuropathy, but could it be this fatty tissue with all these little micro um, blood clots in it?" And she just kind of looked at me. She's like, "Well, that's a question to be asked." I'm like, "I'm asking that question. Why don't you know the answer?"
Because they don't know.
Something, yeah, that's something else. Now we've got to follow down the road and see, like, now what do I get tested for and see, you know, I don't want to be on other medications. Now they're talking like doing spinal stimulator to help ease the pain in my legs. I was like, there's got to be an easier way, you know?
It's really something about how you need to start to get certain toxins moved out so you can get a baseline of what's going on in your body. And if you have blood clots, are you on a blood thinner?
No, I only got the one, and they never gave me. So this was in 2019, and I've had pain ever since then, and they can't tell me why I have the pain. They had no explanation for why I got the blood clot. Um, so I'm just left in the air with, you know, try this, do that, and it's been just what 7 years. Yeah, 7 years of ongoing pain. And you know, I don't sleep at night, and I have insomnia and depression. And Angela's been my like depression coach sometimes. You know?
No, that's so nice of you, Angela.
And you know, and she's been up here, and we've talked, and you know, and it's great. But it would be nice not to have all that. You know, so I'm
Right.
always looking into. I've tried other like you know mushroom things, and I've
Have you ever
tried.
done a parasite cleanse?
No, I didn't know there was such a thing as a parasite cleanse. So
I bet
that
you'll see. I bet you're going to see roundworm and you're going to see pinworms. I'm gonna just
okay,
from my experience,
that's
I can see your
disgusting.
skin. I can see the dark circles under your eyes. I hear you're having insomnia.
Dark circles.
Well, and that's just it, Wayne. You do have the insomnia. So
No, insomnia.
Well,
I
that's a symptom of a parasite.
yeah.
Insomnia, eating after 7 p.m., grinding your teeth, distension of your belly.
wait, grinding your teeth?
Yes. Because they absorb magnesium and calcium, and they've hijacked your nervous system. And what they do is they plug directly in their coding of their low frequency to your frequency, lowering your frequency. What they're doing is they act like a mirror in front of your immune system while running behind the immune system with this mirror. And the immune system is like, oh, yo, I'm fine. What's all the problems? So they encapsulate all the environmental toxins inside of a biofilm. And so you have to bring in an herb to break that biofilm down. That biofilm also causes abnormal cells. And there is a document from the CIA that came out and said that endoparasites are the same resemblance to malignant tumors because there's a hard shell around them. You have to break that shell down, exposing. And I will guarantee you've also been exposed to mold.
What's that?
Mold
Oh.
and parasites live together harmoniously inside of the biofilm, wreaking havoc on our bodies because they put that mirror up in front of the immune system, running rampant, wild in the bag. And then all of a sudden you bring in a cleanse and you break that mirror down and then the body will respond.
That's
but you
crazy.
have to actually go in and do it systematically. And that's why I created the kits that I created.
Well, I asked about the grinding, the tooth grinding, because I have to go in. I have to have 3 of my molars replaced because apparently I'm grinding so hard I've cracked them all.
At night.
And yeah, I used to have TMJ, so I must not be grinding as hard as I used to, but it's still enough that I just saw my dentist 2 days ago, and he's like, "Yeah, those 3 teeth, they're cracked. I mean, they're holding together, but they're cracked."
You have parasites.
Stop saying that.
I have a really great natural doctor that can help you a lot. I've got an entire section in my living room that's for practitioners that I've vetted or I see myself. It's really important that you get somebody that does fully understand everything about what's going on in your body. And I do have a lot of free resources, but I think because you are somewhat of a complex case, you would do really well with the Parasite kit if you want to do it individually without having a practitioner. But to be honest with you, I do think you should go and invest in some sort of a mental doctor that they can run your labs and you can have a full understanding of what's going on. And it's really a simple thing. You just have to find the right doctor. And I have like Dr. Motley, Dr. Cone, Dr. Giles, all of them are really amazing doctors that believe in all of what I'm saying because they've experienced it all themselves and their practices. And I'm just kind of the loud mouth in the group of people that are doing that. They're, they don't come out the same way I come out, and they can't say the same things I can say.
Right.
So, but you can watch them. Dr. Will Cole is really great. Dr. Josh X. Everybody that I've ever podcasted with or that I've seen myself, they're all within my accounts. And I really recommend going and researching that, whether it's you or anybody that's listening. Because having your own patient advocacy and sovereignty over your own health is so validating that a lot of autoimmune and chronically ill people like us, we just need to have control, and it's there for you.
I'm definitely interested in that because, like I said, I argue with my doctor every time she wants to prescribe something to me. I was like, do I really need it? Do I, is that another medication? What's it going to be? What are the side effects? And do I have to take another pill to counteract those side effects? You know what I mean? I just feel like it just, and a friend of mine, before her mother passed away, her mother was on something like 22 medications.
I was on 26.
And they switched to a different doctor. And the doctor finally sat down and went through every single one. She was on 3 different blood pressure ones, 4 different blood thinners. And she's and like, this is really also, you're low overdosing on stuff. You know what I mean? So they went through and cleaned it up. I think by the time they got done, she was on 8. Which is still a lot of
Western medicine. In America.
I agree.
You are a typical American. And you're in this matrix setting because you don't have any way of knowing how to get out of it. And that's what's made me go so viral. Because I help you understand how to have sovereignty over your own health. So you go in with educating and education versus just being pushed around and gaslit. I have 2 degrees. These were my colleagues. And they kept gaslighting. How are you, as a normal human in the general population, supposed to understand this?
Yeah, we don't have a chance. We don't have a shot.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to give people a shot and have an understanding because it is really important for us as a society to stop being so chronically ill, to expose the weaknesses of what Western medicine has done to us, and how we can continue to get stronger and take control over something that should have always been in our control.
Right.
There's a fine line between communism, because they take away the sovereignty over your health and your body. So it's really important for us to understand exactly where the taboo subjects are, like mold, Lyme, and parasites. 95% of us have worms. Period. You eat
That's just crazy
fish.
to even think of that.
Your pets.
Wow. I mean, did you know that?
Well, I did. And there's a reason behind why I know some of the things I do. I was in the medical field myself for many years. I was a surgical tech for many years, in cardiology, cardiac. And I also, prior to that, there's been many phases of Angela. I used to do skincare. And one of the things we part of that whole background of skincare and being in the spa is learning about alternatives to regular medicine on how to heal the skin and how to, Ayurvedic medicine and, yes, all of those great things. So there's that side of me. And right now I work in public health. So I've got all these different areas, and I've heard all of the things you've been saying today many times over, and we do listen, we listen, but I think sometimes we're afraid to move in that direction because just like Wayne is saying too, oh my goodness, that's so disgusting. And I'm nervous about any of it. So
Well, if you hear some of it, like I said, I know one trichinosis, big deal, but
right, right. But
but
we
there's so many other
associate.
things out there.
Yeah. And I think we always associate things with just one side of the story. Like for the example, trichinosis just coming from the meat. Oh, well, I didn't eat anything like that. So it's probably not, I don't have that issue, or I don't eat sushi. It's okay. I don't think I have that kind of stuff. So we don't take it beyond just the foods that we're eating alone, like we're just like, okay, well, there's so many things that contribute to that. I mean, like being in your garden and, doing so many different things contribute to parasites, and parasites not only in the intestinal tract, and correct me if I'm wrong or I'm saying something that's not correct. There's parasites that invade us. There's good parasites within our body, but there's also the bad ones that are making us sick. They make us resistant to a lot of things. So, I mean, these are things I do know, but and I've got to be honest, I've just recently been looking at your website and going in. I follow you on Instagram. When we knew you were coming on the show, I was so excited because I was like, I can't even wait to talk to her about all of these wonderful things because it gets me so passionate about the things I used to do before I was in the healthcare industry. Um, I was very cognizant of those types of things, when I was in skincare, it was all about the healing process. I myself healed my own, you know, body, skin, everything, and here I am on the other side of things now, and things have taken a little bit of a turn. Not for the good, I have to say.
I'm
So,
sorry.
yeah. So listening to you and hearing some of these things, it just kind of hits you enough to say, let's explore some other options, because here's where I am at this point in my life. Do I want to continue? Like you were saying, I mean, you were in such a bad way. At what point do you get, to the worst way you could possibly be? At what point do you say to yourself then, okay, now what do I do? Do I just accept the fact? And my gosh, I couldn't even imagine like saying to my husband, okay, this is it. I'm going to be done here soon. And my time on this earth is just limited. And then you're like, this is the way it's going to be. Like I couldn't even imagine what you were going through that part of your life. Um, but having the strength to turn it all around and take everything you knew medically as well as the things you were about to experience with the mushrooms and your cleanses and everything that you do. I mean, that's amazing to me. I mean, you really took the power in your own hands to achieve what you needed to achieve.
I was pretty mad.
I
Not
bet
to
you
lie, I was
were.
pretty pissed. And it was during 2020, and I lived in Washington, and I wasn't going to subscribe. And in fact, in the Bridgeport area, they joked around. My neighbors said they were going to put a red circle around our house because we weren't going to subscribe to 2020. So it wasn't just even I had my own help against me and medical abandonment. I wasn't subscribing to 2020, so I had nowhere to go. So that really put a huge indication that me and Jeremy wanted to do this ourselves because we had nowhere to go. I don't really talk too much about that. I think you guys might be the first people I've ever said it that way too, because there wasn't an option for us. I couldn't go into a hospital. I couldn't go to a doctor. There was nowhere for us to go for me. And I was getting off of Klonopin after 22 years.
Yeah.
And like, what do you do? You just have to go into survive mode. And like, what was I going to continue to feel the way that we're all you guys are feeling right now? And I think that helps people understand how to cleanse differently too. When you come into it, like, I can't get worse. I can't feel worse. I feel the worst I'm at right now. And as soon as you start to feel better, you get addicted to that. As soon as I saw round ones and pinpoints in my toilet, I knew right then that was my problem. I've been lied to. I felt very guilty because I thought I was lying to people around me, right? My patients, my students, and I grabbed my phone and I thought, I'm going to let them all have it. I'm going to say that I saw them in the toilet that came out my skin and that this is something I never did in Western medicine. As soon as the response came, it was like what your guys' response got. 50% of the people were like, woo! And the other 50% of the people were like, oh my God, you're crazy. This is impossible. You're lying. You're snake oil salesman. And I'm like, I know what I saw.
Right.
And you can see how sick I was. And I prove it. I record myself every day. I literally have done this for over 1,800 days straight. That's how important it is. Especially when I get on calls and podcasts with people like you guys, because you just don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Even in the field, Angela, you heard the things, but the moment you think, did this happen to me? And you immediately shut it down. Inflammation in our bodies actually created by from parasites and mold and environmental toxins that are causing you to eat trashy, sugar, salt, toxoplasmosis makes you feel no fear and go sleep around with people because it rewires your frontal lobe. So that's one parasite out of thousands that can be in our bodies. And that's just one parasite doing one thing to your body. Can you imagine how many we actually do have in our bodies? And according to the CDC, 60 million of us have them. But the problem with that number is our testing is terrible. So my test is not even in that 60 million. My test had to go to Mexico. I took a sample of my stool, sent it to Mexico. The same stool, sent it to LabCorp. LabCorp came back negative, which is what the insurance then pays for because it's all circled together. If the insurance doesn't pay, the doctor won't prescribe. If the lab doesn't come back positive, the doctor won't prescribe and insurance won't pay.
See, that's been my argument for a long time. So I was diagnosed HIV positive when I was 33. And I firmly believe that while pharmaceuticals will come up with a way to prolong your life, it's against their business model to come up with a cure. Why? Why would you come up with a cure when you're charging people like me or the insurance company $2,500 a month for a pill? You know what I mean?
More than that on an antiparasitic friend.
Right.
$24,000 for 21 days of an anti-parasitic
Oh my goodness.
in this country.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. It's great to see some of the advances that they're making in healthcare, but I just, as far as pharmaceuticals, I mean, I'm sure if somebody hears it at some point, I might get yelled at, but I just don't think it'd be like me making a T-shirt for you that lasts forever. That would be against my business model. You know what I mean? I'd sell you one T-shirt and never see you again. You know, so why would pharmaceutical companies design a cure for something that they're making billions and trillions off from every year?
Trillions. It's wild what they've done to us.
Yes, I agree. And I always, here's another question. So I was thinking about this when you're mentioning all these parasites, because now I won't be able to sleep tonight.
Well, we're sleeping because of the parasites. They cause insomnia.
Now I won't be sleeping.
I'm very excited to send you my products because I guarantee you're going to get a really good night's sleep about a week into the parasite kit.
I think me and Angela will probably both be on your site ordering before we.
I'm all over for you. We have an affiliate program. I've got you, my friends. I'm going to send you my products.
I was curious.
When we're done with this, we'll talk.
Oh, great.
I was curious what your thought was on CPAP machines, because I was told to be on one 2 years ago. My husband just got put on one, and I'm just hearing more and more customers who come in my customers and people I know are saying that they got put on a CPAP machine. And it's like, oh, this sounds like an epidemic type thing. Like, why are so many people needing a CPAP machine? I don't use mine. I told my...
Well, we're overweight. Right.
Yes.
That causes sleep apnea. It's actually one of my specialties, by the way. If you're going to do anything, you should do an APAP machine. An APAP will auto pressurize to your breath. A CPAP needs a dial-in, and you can't change your prescription unless you go to the doctor and have them change it. So you need an APAP.
Okay, my husband. I think my husband just got the APAP. He couldn't wear it. He said, he goes, I can't breathe. I can't exhale. I literally can't exhale. He goes,
Has he got the mask?
It's just a very thin thing that goes under the nose.
So he has a thing right here.
Yeah. I've got the little tiny mask. I had the big mask, but because of this, I can't.
Yeah.
It was like putting on a freaking corset on my face. I just put it on so tight because it wouldn't hold pressure with the beard. But I've got the smaller one now, which I've used a couple of times and it works, but I can't breathe it. I can't get to sleep with the thing on. I can't breathe. I feel like I'm breathing like hot air back in and out, which I can't stand. And I told my doctor, I said, if the point of this is to get a good night's sleep, I sleep 10 times better with the thing off. I just do.
Mm-hmm.
And she's arguing like, well, that's not the point. And I was like, well, I'm going to go with what gives me the best night's sleep, because that's what I feel I need right now is sleeping. But I was just curious what your take on it, because like I just hear more and more people are being put on these machines, and I don't know if this is something that falls in your line too. Like, if there's something, is there a parasite that's causing it, or is it just like, well, I get the weight thing is part of it, or
I'm not saying you guys are. I'm just saying that it is a component. But what's making us so overweight? Right? What's making us so overweight? What's making us so inflamed? What's the root of it all? To be honest, though, my husband still has to wear this APAP machine and cleanses all the time. Maybe that's not what you want to hear. But it is something that does affect your heart after a long period of time. It's putting a lot of taxing and pressure on your heart when you're trying to take deep breaths to get oxygen into your body. I snore, and I can't wear an APAP machine either. It's really tough. And so just having the option, I do hyperbaric chamber oxygen therapy to really help get more oxygen into my body. So there's alternative ways to help your body never an APAP machine or a CPAP machine. But cleansing's gonna cut.
well,
Seriously. Well, you've already got me
right.
hooked. And even before we had this conversation, like I said, I was on your website. I've been following you on Insta, and I'm just like, I need to really talk to Kim and just hear everything she has to say, because I just believe so much in what you're talking about, and I think it's just my backgrounds have given me the knowledge that I need to know what is the things I should really be questioning and to know how I really want to take control of my own body, you know? So, I mean, I can't even say it enough times. Like, I'm so happy you're here, like to talk about this. I mean, it's just, it's great to hear it. It's also crazy though, when you really think about things in other countries, they've been doing cleanses for a billion years. Like, that's just part of their weekly, monthly, whatever routine. And I just like in America, how come we don't have those practices anymore? You know, there was things like that at one
Because you
time.
can't get a
You know,
recurring
things
charge
used
off
to
of
be.
it.
Well, yeah, you did clarify that at one point.
Well, do you want the deep dive of the history of where
Yeah.
the worms started from with Western
Yeah.
medicine?
Yes.
Okay. So I can even give dates. In 1909, Dr. Stiles came on the scene in the South because they were dying of hookworm. They were dying from anemia because hookworm absorbs all of your iron. 40% that they could test came back positive with hookworm. They actually went around county fairs and would show them a live stool analysis that they had hookworm. And the reason why they had it is because their privies, their outhouses, were overflowing into their fields that they were walking barefoot. So Dr. Stiles came and fear-mongered all over. Rockefeller rolled up and said, you can't teach people like this. People want fun, education, not fear-mongering. Funny enough, Rockefeller from 1909 to 1924 tried to eradicate hookworm because people were dumb. And so they even say that the South lost the Civil War because of hookworm. From 1924 going forward, he then created a system called the Global Public Health System based upon the hookworm. There were 10 steps that they did to eradicate hookworm. It wasn't successful. I think he got his ego hurt, and he tried to do things with herbs, and it didn't work out for him. So he went to synthetics. In the process of going to synthetics, he rewrote the entire public health system, calling it Western medicine. And in that moment, he started to disregard what he had done from 09 to 24. And it started to become taboo for us. Where other countries didn't go through this crazy revolutionary medicine, they've still stuck with their roots, which they know water's contaminated, the dirt has parasites in it, animals carry parasites, we're eating animals, they're not just in our gut, they're in our tissue, our muscle, and our blood. And so as time has gone on, because we think that the first world country we live in cannot have these type of problems, we've ignored it. It's taboo. It's been written out of our books. It's something that even myself did not teach properly. Thousands of students went through my curriculum with around 4 minutes of education on parasites. So if I'm this thorough of a person, can you imagine what it's like in the hands of people that don't care at all? And it just has been. I'd love to blame Western medicine for all of this. I'd love to say, oh, Rockefeller played this huge part in it. But in all honesty, us as humans in the last 100 years played the biggest part. As I have worked as a subject matter expert, writing books, and also being below standard at the end of the day, if I said to take it out of a book because it doesn't really help with what we're doing in society today, they take it out. And guess what? I just changed the way medicine's looked at because I removed a portion of our history to actually help the future. And that happens all the time, guys. So I think that we've just been indoctrinated to think that humans here in Western medicine countries cannot have parasites. Well, Mexico can because of their water. Well, my water was contaminated in import. And that's in America. Then I tested my water in Seattle. It also is contaminated with nematodes in that big city of Seattle. So if that's the case, the two cities I tested, in a lab that I worked with, tested 75% of our water, and they all came back with nematodes because we don't test for nematodes. One place right there, water. Second, pets. We don't deworm on pets. We deworm other animals, or you deworm the pet, but you're not deworming yourself. We're animals too. We're the best hosts. We're eating raw produce. I'm soaking my produce. I'm doing all the right things with contaminated warm water. Right? So you start to add this together, and you start to see this overwhelming problem. How do you correct it? I want to go in front of Congress and correct it. But look at what it took me. One person, 5 years. I do this every day. Never took a day off. I'm powering through it. I'm also chronically ill. Had a brain infection at the beginning of the year. Still showed up every day. You don't see that very often anymore. So how else can you educate it out? I used to have 40 to 50 million people a month watching me. I have less than 1 million now on TikTok. Because they've caught on to what I'm doing. I got a strike last night because I wrote Terrified Parasite Cleanse on TikTok. They don't want us to be healthy because they have no way of fixing our problems. And it doesn't just stem from Rockefeller or being taboo or because he took synthetics and created this. No, man. It's because we're at a point in our lives that we allowed to hand the sovereignty over. And that's the part we need to take back now. Understanding our own health. And that's the biggest finger to that. That's it. That's what I'm at with.
And I have noticed too that I've seen more and more postings on people trying to bring back old remedies, like all these plants that grow in our yard. A lot of them, we think are weeds, but I've been seeing more and more posts on social media where these people are taking these, like, okay, if you've got this weed, do this with it because it's a natural this or it's a natural dandelion. So here we've got dandelion, we've got mullein.
I use mullein and immune for mold because it helps break down the mucus. Did you know that Mother Nature is so smart that she takes her cells that shed under her in your yard and she grows the herbs you need? Don't you ever wonder why some people have a lot of dandelions in their yard and others don't? Because those people need to have take a look at their blood and their heart. My property has a ton of Oregon grapefruit, which is an antiparasitic. It also has a ton of plantains, which helps with candida. I have small intestinal parasites, and I have candida, and my cells stag, and it goes around me. Mother Nature's smart.
Like I said, I keep seeing all these posts. It's like, hey, look at that plant growing down there. Look at that plant growing out there. Because, I would love to learn how to utilize them. You know what I mean? I mean, some of them are, they can be toxic if done wrong or too strong. But I just think it's amazing that, there's all these things just growing out there in the yard that are beneficial for us. Not just look good and are ornamental, but are actually healthy for us.
Yeah. Well, that's all the Purified Kit is. I learned what herb helps with what ailment. So cilantro. Everyone's heard of cilantro. It actually helps move heavy metals out of your body.
Wormwood couldn't stand
helps parasites. Clove, garlic. Like all of these things you've heard of. When you soak the herb and you pull the medicine out, we soak it for 5 to 8 weeks. We have big jars of herbs that we soak for 5 to 8 weeks in our manufacturing facility. And then we process the tincture with a water-soluble and alcohol soluble, and you put them together and make a tincture. And then you take the tincture 3 times a day, 15 drops at a time, all 3 tinctures together, and you bind it in. It's that simple.
Wow.
30 days. Then I give you enough for 45 days worth of product. So you do your 30 days. You can take a break. Then during the full moon, you do 5 to 7 days over the full moon in between your 3 to 4 times a year. And then you can also use it as a digestive aid and take it prior to eating questionably, like if you're going to eat the sushi and salmon, to keep making your body inhospitable so that they don't want to stay in you. You're trying to alkalize your body, allowing them to move out. That's all this is. It's very simple.
That's cool. My first doctor I had when I was first diagnosed was Dr. Albert, and I love this guy because even though my numbers are dropping, he allowed me to try home remedies. And one of them was, I learned from a friend, was to use colloidal silver to make the body, inhospitable to the HIV virus. And it kind of worked, but my levels were already too low for it to, take effect. My friend, as far as I know, is still using the colloidal silver. The funny thing though is like, just be careful because if you take too much, you'll turn purple. There's no way to turn back. Once you turn purple, and you're purple forever. I'm like, okay. But he let me try it, you know what I mean? And which was great. And it again in 6 months, it didn't work for me because my numbers were already too low for the silver to work. But again, I love doctors who are willing to look at that, you know what I mean? Because he was like, yeah, by all means. He goes, if that works for him, great. I stay off. You're going back 30 years ago, my original cocktail, as they used to call it, was basically, they were giving me chemotherapy pills. You know what I mean? So you were taking chemotherapy to counteract this disease. So it was nice to have that, but
because they don't know how to treat viruses.
Right.
And I think you're going to do really well when you get my kit because if you go into research dyspnea and lungwort lichen, you're going to be shocked at what you're going to find the benefits of it for viruses. Because it's really specifically made by Mother Nature to move bacteria and viruses out. And it creates a normal nucleic acid inside your body to allow your body to flow freely. And all they did, just so you know, they stole the DNA structure of the plant because they can't patent the plant. They changed it by one molecule, and they created synthetics. Wormwood, blood thinner, amanita, klonopin. It's all the same. They just learned how to harness the frequency that goes into your body. You know how an opera singer sings? She can shatter the glass with her voice. It's the same concept with herbs. All I did was learn what the ailment was and what that herb should be to shatter the ailment. And that's what they as well.
That's
It's
brilliant.
all frequencies. Everything is a frequency. There's a frequency alive in our body that you're trying to snuff out. So your body goes to homeostasis, which is a 7.5 hertz frequency. When you wake up and you have all of these things, you're starting in a negative. So you already have to fight to get yourself back up there. The whole purpose of doing a cleanse is to allow yourself to get to that baseline so you can turn your immune system back online, saying you are fine. Get yourself out of fight or flight and put yourself into rest and digest. And when you get yourself to homeostasis, that frequency will happen for you. But you have to work at. Like it's unfortunate that we can't take a pill anymore to just help us with that. But once you start to get back online, you'll feel better.
I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, I believe her 100%.
Oh, so do I.
What you're saying, and it's like I was just saying to you, like pharmacists back in the day. I mean, it wasn't that long ago when they used to make whatever they needed to make to cure whatever ailment it was that you were dealing
They
with.
still compound. Insurance doesn't cover compounding. And all I did was compound some herbs to make a parasite cleanse. So in Western medicine, we call that compounding, and it's a pharmacy. In herbs, it's an apothecary.
I'd rather go to apothecary than pay $40.
Me too. It's the healthier option anyway.
I've always believed that anything that you can do naturally is just better for you than these, and I don't want to knock Western medicine 100%, but I've had my issues with it. It's like these pills and pills and pills and pills. And some of them, I think I told Angela, like a month or two ago, I just stopped taking everything that I did not need to stay alive. And I felt a difference. It's like, I was taking, Cymbalta to get to sleep and for anxiety. And I was taking Lyrica for nerve pain. I was on gabapentin, 2,400 milligrams a day to try to do the nerve pain. And it wasn't touching it. Lyrica, I just finished it. And now I couldn't redo it because I was up to 200 milligrams a day. Wasn't touching it.
I'm so excited for the two of you. I'm so excited. We have an affiliate program. I'm going to send you guys my product. I know exactly what to get you. Angela, I know exactly what to send you. Tango. I know this is going to help you guys so much. It's going to help regulate your sugars. It's going to help regulate that neuropathy. Because a lot of the neuropathy is because you have a virus and bacteria and parasites that have hijacked your nervous system. That's what neuropathy is. It's your nerves out of control.
Right.
So when you can bring your nervous system back in and allow you to get to that baseline, which is what herbs can do for you, you'll start to feel better and you'll get addicted to it.
I'm certainly I'm looking for a new addiction right now. So
for sure.
Okay. So I want to get to. I've been looking at your list of questions here, and some of them have piqued my interest. I've been peeking at them. I just saw this one here. I got to ask it. What's the craziest worm or parasite you've seen come out of somebody? I know I'm gonna be disgusted. I'm gonna be like, tell me something like 8 feet long or something like that.
Well, your intestinal tract is hollow here. And so literally tapeworms can grow to be that tall. I've seen a three-headed tapeworm with brown worm on the end.
Oh.
But I also have like 30,000 pictures. And I have a parasite identification book that's free. You can download. And you can take a look to see what might come out of your poop. Or face, or whatever, skin, urine. I have come out my pee in my face.
Yeah.
I have come out my feet with fulvic. So I sell a fulvic soap. And I have swim out of my feet on film. Yep.
What about like, have you seen any of the like salivary or anything coming out of those areas? Like what's coming out of there?
I have one come out my neck.
Did you?
On your neck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I coughed up some eggs.
Yeah.
Because when you have pinworms, that's where they go up and down. That's how they produce here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like right now, like the last couple of days, my stomach has just been like nonstop butterfly flipping. And I was trying to find something for dinner the other night, and I went through everything, and Steven's like, "Are you gonna have something for dinner?" It's like, it's trying. Nothing looks good. Nothing. I don't want to eat anything. Like I've eaten very little. Yeah, I've eaten very little the last couple of days because everything just doesn't seem appetizing to me. I just look at, we got a small garden and we've got tomatoes and cucumbers and I can eat those every day. And we got a counter full of them right now. And I'm just like, I know I should eat those, but they just don't look appetizing to me right now. I don't know what it is. It's just been this week. I don't know if it's just extra stress or what, but yeah.
They could be going through a cycle. They cycle. Like they lay their eggs, they cycle through, they hatch, They affect your nervous system. They affect your mind. They affect the way you want to eat. I don't have gluten intolerance and lactose intolerance since cleansing. I still am allergic to onions, but it's not anaphylactic anymore. Yeah. I'm allergic to raw onions. The acidity of it used to make my throat close. And now I just have like a sensitivity to it. But I used to be anaphylactic.
Wow.
I wasn't allergic to anything. What was inside of me was.
Yeah.
See, we have here, our neighbor gave us years ago, they're called wandering onions. So what they do is they grow and they form their next generation at the top. And when they ripen, they fall. And where they fall, they start another plant. So they just keep doing that. So we have them all over the yard now. And I'm sure I've mentioned to everybody, but I'm sure people in this neighborhood think there's the batshit crazy guy out there eating shit out of his yard again, because I walk around, I'm constantly picking up herbs and smelling them. And like we have mint all over the place. So I'm constantly eating mint and onions and things that are growing in the yard. We have thyme. So I'm always like picking up clumps of thyme and smelling. But I'm sure somebody on this road is like, there's that batshit guy over there again. I don't know what he's eating out of his garden, but what is your company's most popular wellness product and why?
Well, it's the purified cake. That's the most popular. And that's what I'm known for. And then I created the lymph kit because the community asked me to do like a precursor type of cleanse prior to doing the purified cleanse.
Oh.
So I created a lymphatic drainage kit called lymph. It's also a dual kit for Lyme, because I use specific Lyme herbs inside of it that help people specifically that have Lyme. But if you don't have Lyme, you still can take the herbs. They're not going to hurt you. They just really have a bigger impact when you have Lyme.
Right. That might be good for
So I created that. And that one is becoming pretty popular because it's not as scary as the parasite cleanse. So it gets you ready, 3 tinctures, and a binder. Everything is 3 tinctures and a binder. I really wanted to keep it simple. The general population's already freaked out about this, you guys are seeing. And so let's make it simple. Let's bring in the herbs in the best way we can, which is a tincture. So all of my products, moldies isn't as big of a deal. Moldies, because not a lot of people understand mold and how to cleanse it out. But I have that kit.
I freak when I see mold. Me and Angela were looking at buying a building locally to move everything into a bigger facility. Right now we're running out of my barn, which is working, but we're running out of space quick. So we're looking at buying this building, and we walked in and I almost had a panic attack because every surface was covered in black mold. And our real estate agent and the other real estate agent, they're just walking around like, yeah. And I'm walking around with my shirt up like this. I'm like, what are we doing about the black mold? And they're like, go just wash it off. I was like, I don't think it works like that.
Never use bleach. Never use bleach. You only use vinegar and peroxide. Never use bleach with mold.
Why is that?
It makes it fearful. It'll send out more spores.
Oh.
You only use vinegar or peroxide.
And the peroxide will oxidize, correct? Is that
Yep.
what
And you put it on for 10 minutes, let it die, and then you wipe it down.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
You can also get like vinegar and then get like one of those insect machine,
like this
Yep.
defogger.
Yeah, or you put it, or it's like the insect spray.
Oh yeah, the pump, the big pump, and you
put it on your back, spray it down vinegar.
Okay, gotcha.
It's gonna kill it. But you shouldn't have bleach in your mouth. It's just bleach is not great.
Not good.
I'm learning so much tonight. What's it like to go mega viral on social media? Because I've been trying for like 20 years.
Careful what you ask for.
Sure.
I think, this is kind of a double-edged answer. Right? If I say it's very stressful, it changed my whole life. 90% of the time it's fabulous, and percent is very stressful. I run a business now. I have 2 new followers, so I have to be very careful what I say. You know, so that part's great. So it's great and bad at the same time. I had to give up my healing journey. That was a big one for me because I really did my best to heal in front of the camera. I don't get to share as much about my life as I used to. So I'm giving the good and the bad.
Right. No, I get it because
I get to change people's lives, but I don't get to share things anymore about my life that I used to be able to share. I'm building a holistic home. I'm not sharing it because people look at me and say, "Oh, you're so lucky." But I've worked very hard. I work 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, and they're not going to hear that.
right.
But what I do love about this is I have a voice, and I love sharing my knowledge. And that's what has been the most rewarding for me, is starting to be able to do that in people's lives for 5 years.
See, that's brilliant because
Yeah.
when we get sent thing, people are like, "Oh, you're so lucky to have your own business. You're so lucky, you guys have a successful podcast." I say successful, we're
That's
pretty
great.
successful, but I mean, we're doing pretty good. We're actually booked out till February 27th.
Congrats! That's
Thanks.
amazing,
Yeah,
you
and,
guys.
and
Really important.
yeah, and we love it because we don't do it as an interview. We do it like we're doing now. It's just, we just love to talk to people and learn this new information and share it with other people as much as we can. But people look at us and, and they say stuff like that. It's like, "Oh, it must be so lucky. It must be so nice." Like, yeah, but where were you 20 years ago? Or like when I was 22 and I bought my first business and built it up to where it is now. What I mean? Where were you back then? Because it hasn't all been, bonbons and, wine. It's been a lot of, working late nights and,
Goes to the grind.
they only see, they
It's
see
a
the now.
grind.
Yeah, they see the now. They don't see the behind the scenes stuff that you had to go through.
I work harder now than I ever have in my life. And I used to go to school at night, and I worked 80 hours a week. I work harder now because I have 45 people that rely on me.
That's awesome. Well, I have to say, I mean, we heard some of your health history from the beginning there, but I think you look fantastic.
Thanks. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of cleansing.
Yeah.
Hundreds of pounds of wood. Black water.
Well, I was thinking earlier, I would love to come and just see your your growing facilities, just to see all the herbs
Are
you had
you
grown
actually
there.
growing your stuff, or do you get it? You get it from
Oh, you.
places.
Well, we forage some of our herbs.
Okay.
I don't forage anymore, but I used to. So, like Red Artist, which is Red Velvet Polypore and Artist Calm. That's one of our tinctures, is Red Artist. It's out of stock all the time because we have to forage deep in the heart of the woods in Oregon. And then we have to hand cut everything.
Okay.
So I have someone that goes and forages for us, and then my husband cuts the herbs. And then I just sort through organic and certified and ethical. But we used to forage the Usina and the lungwort lichen and those 2 mushrooms my husband and I did. And we just got so big.
It's a lot.
And so big. Yeah, it's so much work now. I miss that part of the business though. I'd rather do that than what I do now. Yeah, I don't like to manage people. So it's like I'm going on my side, and I'm managing people.
Oh, I
I
kind
like
of
all that stuff.
I kind of love it sometimes though, because I get to.
Well, you're hired.
Sometimes I like to be the mean person. You know what I mean? I'm always asking my husband all the time, like, "Did you get to fire somebody?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Dang." He's like,
just kidding. He doesn't mean that.
Am I though? I mean, sometimes that's a release of stress, just to say, we kind of went over a little bit on time, so I do apologize for that. But
That's
it was
okay.
just such a interesting subject, and I think it just means something to everybody. I think everybody can take something away from this, because I think you're a miracle person if you don't have some kind of ailment. you know what I mean? I think everybody's got something going on, whether it's, your eyes, your ears, whatever, something going on. So to have a source like you who can explain and offer these remedies, I think it's just a great thing. And I'm so happy that we got you onto the show and we're able to talk to you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
So Kim, tell us what do you want us to put out there for other than what they're just seeing, but what do you want us to put on the website so that they can see basically tap into everything that you're offering?
Well, I'd like you guys to sign up. So then you'll have an affiliate code, and when everyone gets around 10% off.
You can see both of us during the whole show kept writing down notes.
And then I can give you my email and I can send you the link. And then I can get, as soon as you sign up, then I'll get the kits out sent to you.
Okay.
Cool.
And then you guys can talk about it however you want. You want to do a podcast on what you've experienced. That's always fun. People love doing that.
Oh, that would be cool.
But if you want to find me, you can find me on my website, rediscovering.com.
Yep.
I'm on all of the TikTok and Instagram, Mrs. Rogers Third. And then you can actually Google me. I bossed so hard on Google. Kim Rogers, the Worm Queen.
I had somebody. I've been a guest on some other shows now, talking about. I won another podcast called "Looking In," and it's about me. It's growing up gay, impoverished, and forgotten in a small town, country town. But I've been a guest on other shows, and I say the same thing. People are like, well, if somebody wants to talk to you directly, how can you find it? Just Google my name. I'm on everything.
You bossed so hard. You're
Googleable.
I'm Googleable. I'm going to do a shirt like that. Says I'm Googleable. I love that term. I'm going to write that down.
Oh, you can also see me on my podcast. It's What's Eating You with the letter U.
Okay.
I have around 60 episodes. I've done around 400 podcasts total on other people's. And then on my own, it's me and my best friend, Sam. She actually wrote for Kanye West, and she has pink hair, and she's wild,
love it.
And so she's my co-host and my producer for it. And we go around all these different facilities and show these cool modalities we do. And I do a lot of long form. I talk about more than mind and water. So if you want to learn more about me and you want to watch it, it's on the CD with the letter U.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, I know when I go inside, I'm definitely going to be on your website and probably ordering up some stuff tonight. I'm sure Angela is too, because I see her writing stuff down too. Again.
We'll get all signed up for her affiliate.
Yeah, because you can use the code.
Yeah.
We'll just use the
You
code.
get a discount and get a little bit of kickback. So
Cool.
the best way to order it. You get a big discount when you don't go yet.
Nice. Well, again, what a great episode. I mean, it was such an honor talking to you and a privilege, and we certainly enjoyed having you here tonight.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night, and God bless.
Thanks. Do you want to have my email?
Yeah, you gave us that, right? It was Kim Rogers. Actually, no. Do you want to disconnect and we can talk to her about that, or do you want that to be out there for people?
No, I don't want to be.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll
just end the show and then we'll talk to you about that.
Okay.